Right. Now, 7 cabinet secretaries in President Uhuru Kenyatta's first cabinet were shown the door, but were redirected to crucial ambassadorial positions. Why were these CSS given a soft landing? I posed this question to the president's chief of staff, and this was his response.
In every environment, you get to learn, even in your own organization. On occasion, you may have people whose skills and aptitudes lies elsewhere. In our case, in an environment of, where you have close to 50 million Kenyans, all with their own expectations of government, in the political setup where in order to form government, you have to coalesce around different voting blocks, and all those interests come into play. So I would say that competence and mediocrity is slightly at the bottom of that list of consideration.
Okay. It's interesting that you say competence and mediocrity would be not top of the list, and that political considerations played a greater deal. Some would be concerned about that, then that this is all political rather than delivery.
I don't see anything that would compromise on the delivery agenda. The point I was trying to make was that if you have some people who may not have made it back into cabinet, it may not be because of competence or mediocrity. It may simply be that the real politic of the day does not allow that scenario to materialize. And that's the environment that we're in.
Now, you've mentioned inclusivity and diversity quite a bit, but when you take a look at all of the appointed cabinet secretaries, out of the 21, 11 are from 2 communities, and the dominant communities, that is that of the president and the deputy president, and the rest of the 10 are then shared by persons from other communities. So one wonders where the inclusivity and the diversity is when a majority are coming from essentially the communities of the president and the deputy president. Was this deliberate?
No 2 appointees come from the same county. Counties are not entirely homogeneous. Even within communities, there are different interests. If I would take, for example, the Ma, you have very big clans within the Ma that are fundamentally different from each other, and that one appointment from Narok may not be considered the same way in Kajiado. Within central Kenya, for example, around the mountain, you have different communities that exist. You have the Kikuyu nation that sits within Nyeri. You have different interests in Kirinyaga. You have different interests in Nyandarua. You have different interests in Embu. Meru are as diverse as they would want to be from Nithi. So you would have to be a little bit more circumspect when you look at the composition of the cabinet beyond the superficial representation of those communities.
Be that as it may, Nzioka, though.
And having said that, underpinning a cabinet is political stability. You do not build a house without taking care of your foundation.
Well, there's other communities that also have similar considerations. The Luya, for example, has slightly over 20 sub-tribes. Were those considerations made there? If you take a look at the Mijikenda, there are 9. Were those considerations made there? But when you have 11 people from both the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin, take a look at the